Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Soul Speak. I am your host, Emily Miller, intuitive guide and healer. All right, so this week we are going to get into the idea that the universe, source, our higher selves will give us things that we think are the real deal, that they are it. And then those things are taken away, or they are shown to us that they are not exactly the thing for us. And that comes in different ways, and we'll talk about that too. So last week, whenever I was talking about my big move and how we had so many different things happen during the move that showed me what was going on in my creator field, what was the energy that I was holding, what are the beliefs that I was holding about myself, and how I had to start shifting those things in order for the universe to be able to give me all the things that were actually the real deal thing. So last week we sort of got into this, but this week we're going to really get into this idea that the universe gives us things that are our practice round. These are the things that get us ready for the real thing. So the idea that this happens is because we have to see exactly what we have within our energy, and that is shown to us through the people, places, situations, and circumstances that we encounter in our lives. So your creator field, the energy that you are putting out, that is the beliefs that you hold about yourself that you hold about yourself to be true. Okay, so I'm not saying that they are true, but these are the things that we think are true about ourselves. We carry these beliefs usually from a very young age and keep them and keep building on them and keep having people, places, situations, and circumstances that make these beliefs that we hold firmer and stronger in our beingness. And so we keep having the same experiences over and over and over again because we haven't shifted these beliefs. So with the housing situation that I had for me selling my house and then me finding a new house, it was a big, huge eye opener showing me exactly what I was holding about me within me. So the first one was the offer that we received. So first, we received an offer that was a complete lowball offer. The agent was awful. The offer was awful. The circumstances within it were bad. It was not good in any way, shape, or form. I'm trying to even think of one thing that was good about the offer and I can't. So what I had to then do was be like, okay, this is not the offer that I know that I deserve. What is going on within me that's creating this circumstance that I'm experiencing right now? And the thing that I was holding on to was that I wasn't seeing my value. I wasn't seeing my full value. I was there and I was like, yeah, I'm worth, this and da 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 da, but I wasn't seeing it to its fullest extent. And so I went in and did some work around that, shifted some beliefs, did some healings, did some all sorts of all of my tricks and pulled out everything that I have in the toolbox to shift that belief. And literally 3 days later, we received a full price. Actually, it was an over ask offer. So on top of that, the over ask offer had a very quick closing period, which was with 20 days. Typically, it's a 30-day closing period, and they wanted our house in 20. And we're like, okay, that means we got to get moving and grooving. It's time. We put this out there, and here it is. It came to us exactly as we wanted, and actually even better. So we and also what was really cool was this realtor, because I was selling the house myself. I didn't use a realtor. And so their realtor had this huge team that was working behind him and supporting us all throughout the way. And so we, did his realtor stuff and paid his commission and everything. And then it ended up being like really amazing because he was working basically for us without us having to do anything on our end with a realtor. So it was like an ideal situation. It was so good. So that happened with the sale of our house. And then I had that practice offer that gave me the time to go in and be like, okay, this is not what I wanted. I know that this is not what was the ideal situation. Did the shifting, got the ideal situation within days. So then we are trying to find a house, and I told this in the last episode. I'll tell it in a briefer version of the story here, but we are leasing a home right now because we didn't really want to pick a place in this new area that we've moved to because we're like, we might change our mind, or, schools and we might want to change. So let's rent for a year and see how we like the area. If we want to, move to a different place, we can. We aren't, making a huge commitment in the buying of a home. So we are leasing. And on top of that, I did not know how difficult it was to lease a house and all the information that the landlords, homeowners want to get from you. And so they needed a lot of information from me. They and my husband, they needed all of our financials, all of this stuff. Past this, past that, When was the last time you washed your hair? Basically. So it was literally everything. So we applied for 2 houses and they were like, nope. And then we applied for a 3rd house and I met the lady because I called her, the homeowner, and her number was on the listing. And so I called that number and I was like, hey, I just wanted to check with you, started asking her some questions about the house. And she was like, oh, yes, you're the best person we talked to. This is such a good situation, We have our realtor who we're working with here go and do a video call so we can see the house because we weren't able to come in person. Loved the house, loved the homeowner. And I was like, okay, this is really good. And I was like, whenever I was having a conversation with her, at one point I was even like, hey, do you have any questions for us? Because she just kept telling us how great the area was in her house and selling us on her house. And she was like, no, it's all good. I just work on vibes. So I was like, okay, cool. She's my kind of people. We get it. And so then, I'll kind of make this shorter. We are supposed to be moving in on the 26th. It is the 23rd. And her realtor emails my realtor and says, hey, just wondering where the deposit payment is. And my realtor messages me and she's like, hey, did something go wrong with the wiring of the funds or whatever? I was like, wiring of what funds? What happened? Everything was due on the 26th on this contract. It showed me everything was due on the 26th. So I was like, okay, we're good until, the day of move-in. We'll wire everything. Everything's fine. No. Then the realtor is freaking out. She's like, we were taking a risk on this family because they, have, they don't have, traditional jobs, and we were doing them a favor, and, all these things about how, it was such a risk for them to lease their house to us. I'm like, okay, we're just, trying to give you our money to live in your house. Not that much of a risk. So anyways, she's going on and on with my realtor, and my realtor is communicating this to me. So it's like a back and forth. Anyway, comes down to it. This was 7:00 that evening. She's like, oh, in the deposit, it said there was a little tiny part in the paragraph. Everything else said 26, and there was one that said 22, and I totally missed it. So it was on me, fully. But they also never checked, if you were waiting for a large amount of money to be wired to you. It was crazy because they didn't text us or message us even about it until the end of the second day that it was due. So I'm like, yeah, we'll get on, we'll pay it right now. No big deal. Like, we just have to put the money through. And they're like, well, we need to think about this. And I'm not sure that we're going to still honor this contract. So that was about 7 o'clock on the 23rd. Then about 11 o'clock that night, they message our realtor. My realtor forwards me the message, and it's from the homeowner. And she's like, please tell Emily that we are so sorry that we are going to have to terminate this contract, and we hope for the best for her and wish her love and light. I'm like, oh my God. We are supposed to be moving to this new house in 2 days, basically. The 25th or the 24th, 5th, and then we move in on the 6th. We have no house. The next day, I call our realtor, or that evening actually, my husband and I are like, all right, let's get back on the Zillow. Let's see if we can find a house. So we get back on Zillow at like 11 o'clock at night, and we text our realtor. I'm like, okay, hey, this house looks good. Could you go see this house tomorrow morning? She texts the realtor. Their realtor gets back to her 2 hours right away. She makes the appointment for 9:30 the next morning. We go to our current house that we're moved out of. Okay. We literally, that day that they canceled the contract on for us in that one house, we had packed up our entire house. It was in a moving van, ready to go. So the next day, we are cleaning up, doing the final like move in or move out, making sure we didn't leave anything or whatever in our current home or the home that we were selling. And so she does a video call, and we get a tour of the house, this house that we're in. And I was like, oh my God, I love it. It's perfect. It has the best views. It has this, it has that. It had all of these things that I never even thought to like look for in an area I wasn't even really looking in. So it was really wild how this house came in like last minute and just showed up. And then she came, our realtor did the video call. We loved it. We met the realtor who was representing the homeowner. He was awesome, like so grounded and just very like neutral and not wild like the other realtor. It was just such an ideal situation. And so I'm like, can we please do the application like ASAP? Will we be able to move on the 26th? He's like, oh yeah, not a problem as long as everything goes through. So that's the 24th. We send all of our information in on the 24th to get approved for the lease of this house. And the realtor hadn't even gotten back to us yet. So that was like in the afternoon. So the next morning we wake up on the 25th to go close on our home and do all of our paperwork. Everything's final. Everything's funded. Done. We're done with our house. And we don't have a home to move into. So it was so crazy that we were homeless, basically. We were just like, what in the world are we doing? This is crazy. Like, people don't do this. And so we, my husband already had, like I told you, had everything packed up, and he is ready to go to our new location where we don't have a house. And I was like, listen, you just got to go. And he's like, I know. I'm like, it's going to work out. And he's like, I know. So he takes off with the dog and all of our worldly possessions. And he goes, he's driving to this new location across the country. And during this trip, we're still waiting to hear back from the other realtor to tell us if we get the house or not. Finally, that afternoon of the 25th, they send over a contract for us to sign. So we put in all of our signatures. Everything was just so nice and easy, and everything made sense. And they weren't asking for any like wild information from us. They weren't questioning us. They were just like, yeah, you can have the house. It's good to go. Y'all are ready to move in. Here's the contract. Here's everything. But we didn't get the signed contract back immediately from their realtor. So we signed it. My husband's like in the car, signing it digitally on the way. And then me and my children are supposed to be hopping on a plane the next afternoon. That night comes and we still haven't heard anything from their realtor. Like, do we have an executed contract? Like, is everything good to go? Nothing at all. So the next day we wake up and I start, like, I'm supposed to be getting on a plane to go to this location where we don't have a house. And so I'm texting my realtor all day. I'm like, hey, have you heard anything? Like, is there any news? Like, have you reached out? Have you done this? Have you done that? And I knew she was getting exhausted from hearing from me, and she thought that this was like all moving so quick. But anyways, she finally is like, I still haven't heard anything. It's like, we're just waiting. So I'm like, all right, kids, we're going. We've got tickets. We're going to get on the plane. And so we drive to the airport, and I still don't have an executed contract. We don't have a house. And we park in the front row. We get a beautiful spot. And I'm like, okay, here's a sign. This is a sign that everything is working out. And so we get a beautiful front row parking. We walk into the airport. There's no line at the TSA. I'm like, another sign. Everything is working out. We get to the gate. The plane is on time. Everything is still working out for me, right? Everything is always going to work out for me because it always does, and it is right now. We get on the plane. I still haven't heard word. We still don't have an executed contract. Get situated, get settled in. Still don't have any word. Buckle the seatbelt. Bam, text comes through. We have an executed contract. Yay. So I text Billy, or my husband, right away. And I tell him, transfer the money now, because he had everything like set up, ready to go on his phone. So all he had to do was press the button. And I was like, transfer the money. I'm getting on a plane. If you need anything, and I'm texting the realtor, if you need anything, text my husband. I'm out of commission for the next 3 hours. But I'm like, yes, okay, I can kind of, breathe easy. At least our contract is executed. We land the plane. I'm trying to, keep my mind busy still at this point. But we land the plane, and my phone, comes back in, and we have a text message from our realtor. Congratulations, you have a house. Here is the key. This is the location of the key. Here's the front door code. Here's all the things. Let me know if you need anything or if anything doesn't work. Congratulations. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys, we did it. We were so happy. We get to the house, walk through the front door, and it is the best thing I could have ever imagined, even though I didn't even have something like this in my sights. It was crazy. And so it's just a really cool thing that you have to have these practice rounds, these crappy offers, and this house that falls through in order to be able to have the things that you do want. So here's a really cool way of how this works out. So let's think of it in another point or another area of life besides like just where you are living. Besides that, let's say this is showing up in relationships. So how many of you have gone through a breakup, a divorce, a separation, anything where you have had a partner at some point, thought, okay, they are it. This is the person. I'm going to marry them. I'm going to spend the rest of my life with them. They are the one, right? And then, it could be 6 months from now, it could be 20 years from now, and you end up separating from that partnership. You guys break up, you divorce, whatever the thing is, and you're like, okay, what was all of that for? Well, a lot of times it is a situation where you had to have this kind of relationship with this person in order to see what you were actually wanting in life, what you actually deserved. Those relationships are there as teaching moments. They show you, okay, just like that house, just like that offer, that shitty offer, I didn't have to work with that offer. I didn't have to do anything with that offer because I knew that there was another one on the other side of that was better, that was the best, that was going to be everything that I deserved. So a lot of people will take that offer. They'll take that bad relationship. They'll take the awful job. They'll take the thing and they'll settle with that one thing because they think, oh, this is the best that I can get, so I've got to work with it, right? But that's not true. Those things are things that are showing you what you truly desire and what you truly deserve. They're learning moments, and they are times for you to see what is in your energy, what you are currently holding on to that is giving you these settling moments or these experiences that are not the best, and they are showing you what is going on within your energy to be able to adjust it and then be able to experience the top, the best, the thing that is actually the one. So let's think of it this way, we'll do like a little sports analogy, okay? My husband is very athletic and is always watching sports. So I, by proxy, know a lot of things about sports. And let's say that you are wanting to be an NFL quarterback, okay? And you have never practiced a day in your life. Let's say you played like flag football whenever you were a kid. And then you maybe like played in high school a little bit. You weren't, the starting quarterback, you were backup quarterback, we'll say. And so you played in these sports, but then all of a sudden somebody sees you make a touchdown with a touchdown catch in the park or something. And they're like, oh, that person is really good. Let's put them on a professional team. And they go and they take and they pluck you out of this kind of obscurity and they put you right on into this professional environment, which is top tier. It has the best players, the best training, the people who have been here for, training their entire lives. They are professional level athletes who are at peak physical, mental, all the things. They perform at their highest level every single day. That's what they get paid for, the big bucks to go perform at the highest level. And here you come, coming in from off the park, and you are expected to perform at this elite level. But you've never played at an elite level. You barely go to the gym every day. Like, there's not an elite level situation that you are in. You might have had a really cool moment where you were like, yeah, I can do this. And then they put you in this big situation. And let's say they put you in for the Super Bowl and you are the starting quarterback in the Super Bowl playing against the best players in the world in this situation that you've dreamed your whole entire life about. And then you go and the number one receiver in the country, he's got the ball and he's passing it to you, and then you freeze. The ball plunks you right in the middle of the forehead and drops to the ground. You completely destroy this moment because you have never been in a situation where your energy was ready for the big leagues, for the professional level, for the ultimate experience that you are wanting. So the universe doesn't give you these moments where you are in these situations where you're going to fumble the ball. Like, they're not going to do that to you. They are going to give you these moments along the way to build you up and lead you to this perfect moment where you have practice, 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 practice until you're ready for the big, real deal. The universe gives you all of these moments up until this point where they give you the real thing because they know that you've gone through this. Then you went through this and you had this experience, and now you're ready for the big leagues. The universe is always going to give you practice. Even people who, let's say that you hear stories, right? A lot about, I don't know. I'm just thinking of like Justin Bieber for some reason. Like he was founded, I think he was discovered on like YouTube or something, right? And was kind of like plucked out of obscurity and then made into this huge pop star. Those are things that happen via soul lessons. And if you've ever followed like a pop star's career and you see, okay, they were, discovered on Star Search, I think was like Britney Spears. So that sort of situation where they are kind of pulled out of that obscurity and then plopped into these big professional settings. They don't experience ease within those situations. Think about the ups and downs and the roller coasters that you've heard about with these people who do have that, like Britney Spears. I mean, she had a whole like shaving her head moment, and I don't know if you can see kind of like what she's up to now. It's not an ideal situation. So these are something that are more like soul contract situations where these people are meant to learn really big lessons through these really big experiences. And you can see that the outcome of them are not what you would want. Like they don't get a winning moment. They're having really rough times in life. So you might look at things like that and be like, oh, well, this person was discovered and then they were able to still find success. Well, yeah, they did find success maybe in their career at certain moments, but are they constantly getting that good life time? Like, do they have all of the good things in life? Do they have family? Do they have friends? Do they have their fortunes? And then do they have good peace of mind? Do they have, all the love around them? Usually not. So whenever you see situations like that where people are plopped into the big leagues, there's usually a lot of soul lessons around those ideas or around those circumstances. So it does happen, but it's not an ideal situation. An ideal situation, a source and higher self sort of plan, if you're following that, would be the way that you are able to have all of those practices. You're able to have all of these people, places, situations, and circumstances within your lifetime to where you are able to see what kind of lessons each of those things are teaching you along the way to get to all the good stuff. So I just want for you guys to think about that today. Like, if you were given that thing that you think that you truly want right now, if you were to win the lottery, do you know how to manage all that money, or would you lose it within a couple of weeks? If you were to be a famous MLB player all of a sudden, would you know how to handle it? Would you know how to physically go through all the work that it takes to be that sort of person? If you were handed fame, fortune, all of those things right now, do you think your energy is ready for it? And what would actually happen if you got those things? So the universe is never cruel in the circumstances and situations that you are given. The universe is simply preparing you for all of the things that they want to give you. They want for you to learn the lessons. They want for you to be able to hold on to the thing that they are delivering to you. They don't want to give it to you when you aren't ready for it and you can't keep it. So think about that this week. How are the things that you want? How are you maybe not quite ready for them? And what is going on in your life right now that is preparing you for all of those things? What kind of lessons are you experiencing right now in the people, places, situations, and circumstances in your life? It's really, really a cool thing to use all of that information as an experiment, kind of to play around and see, like, okay, if I'm holding or if I'm experiencing this thing, what belief am I holding that is creating it? What is in my energy that I am sending out for the universe to give me back that experience? Whether it's good or bad, it's something you do or don't want. It's really amazing to be able to decode that information. So think about that this week. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for the real deal? Are you ready for the big leagues? Are you ready for that situation? Or are we still learning? Are we still adapting? Are we still growing? And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter on my website. The link is in the show notes. And also, if you are wanting to figure out what sort of beliefs you are currently holding on to that might be creating some little things within your life or big things in your life that you would like to start to shift and learn and grow from, let me know. And you can sign up for the free read that I have. It's really fun. You just submit your issues that you're experiencing right now. Nothing's too big, nothing's too small. And I will give you a little intuitive look in and see what is going on. So let me know that and have a gorgeous, gorgeous week.